Simon. Crisostomo Ibarra reincarnated as a wealthy jeweler bent on starting a revolution.
Basilio, Caesar's son, now an aspiring doctor.
Sagani, poet and Basilio's best friend. Portrayed as emotional and reactive, Paulita Gomez's boyfriend before being dumped for fellow student Juanito Pelaez.
Cabezang Talos. Telesforo Juan de Dios, a former cabeza de barangay who resurfaced as the feared Luzon bandit Matanglawin. His father, Old Mancelo, dies eventually after his own son Tano, who became a Guardia Civil, unknowingly shoot his grandfather in an encounter.
Don Custodio. Custodio de Salazar y Sanchez de Monterredondo, a famous journalist who was asked by the students about his decision for the Academia de Castellano. In reality, he is quiet and ordinary fellow who married a rich woman in order to be a member of Manila's high society.
Paulita Gomez, the girlfriend of Isagani and the niece of Doña Victorina, the old India who passes herself off as a peninsular, who is the wife of the quack doctor Tiburcio de Espadanya. In the end, she and Juanito Pelaez are wed and she dubs Isagani, believing that she will have no future if she marries him.
Father Florentino, Isagani's godfather, and a secular priest, was engaged to be married but chose the priesthood instead. The story hinting the ambivalence of his decision as he chose an assignment to a remote place, living in solitude near the sea.
Juli, Juliana de Dios, the girlfriend of Basilio and the youngest daughter of Cabezang Tales.
Benzai. Abram Ibanez is his real name. He is a journalist who thinks he is the only one thinking in the Philippines.
Placido Penitente, a student of University of Santo Tomas who is always miserable and therefore controls his temper.
Keruga, a Chinese businessman who dreamed of being a consul of a consulate of China in the Philippines. He hides Simon's weapons inside his house.
Old Mancelo, father of Cabezang Tales. He raised the sick and young Basilio after his mother, Cesar, had died.
Father Fernandez, the priest friend of Isagani. He promised to Isagani that he and the other priests will give in to the students' demand.
Attorney Pasta, one of the great lawyers of mid-Hispanic Manila.
Captain General, the powerful highest official of the Philippines.
Padre Sibilia, Hernando de la Sibilia, a Filipino friar and now Vice Rector of University of Santo Tomas.
The protagonist of El Filibusterismo is a jeweler named Simon. He is the new identity of Crisostomo Ibarra, who in the prequel Noli escaped from pursuing soldiers. It is revealed that Crisostomo dug up his buried treasure and fled to Cuba, becoming richer and befriending Spanish officials.
After many years, the newly fashioned Simon returns to the Philippines, where he is able to freely move around. He is a powerful figure not only because of his wealth, but also because he is a good friend and advisor of the Governor General.
Outwardly, Simon is a friend of Spain. However, in secret, he is plotting a terrible revenge against Spanish authorities. His two obsessions are to rescue his paramour Maria Clara from the nunnery of Santa Clara and to foment a Philippine Revolution against Spain.
The story of El Filibusterismo begins on board a steamer ship sailing up the Pasig River from Manila to Laguna de Bay. Among the passengers are Simon, Doña Victorina, a pro-Spanish native woman who is going to Laguna in search of her henpecked husband, Tiburcio de Espadanya, who has deserted her Paulita Gomez, her beautiful niece, Denzaide, or anagram of Ibanez, a Spanish journalist who writes silly articles about the Filipinos, Padre Sibayla, Vice Rector of the University of Santo Tomas, Padre Camora, the parish priest of the town of Tiani.
Don Custodio, a pro-Spanish Filipino holding a position in the government. Padre Salvi, thin Franciscan friar and former cura of San Diego. Padre Irene, a kind friar who was a friend of the Filipino students. Padre Florentino, a retired scholarly and patriotic Filipino priest. Isagani, a poet, nephew of Padre Florentino and a lover of Paulita. And Basilio, son of Sisa, and promising medical student whose medical education is financed by his patron, Capitan Tiago.
A man of wealth and mystery, Simon is a very close friend and confidante of the Spanish Governor-General. Because of his great influence in Malacanang, he was called the Brown Cardinal, or the Black Eminence. By using his wealth and political influence, he encourages corruption in the government, promotes the oppression of the masses, and hastens the moral degradation of the country so that the people may become desperate and fight.
He smuggles arms into the country with the help of a rich Chinese merchant, Kiruga, who aspires to be a Chinese consul of Manila. His first attempt to begin the arm uprising did not materialize because at the last hour he hears the sad news that Maria Clara died in the nunnery. In his agonizing moment of bereavement, he did not give the signal for the outbreak of hostilities.
After a long time of illness brought about by bitter loss of Maria Clara, Simon perfected his plan to overthrow the government. On the occasion of the wedding of Paulita Gomez and Juanito Pelaez, he gives a wedding gift to them, a beautiful lamp.
Only he and his confidential associate, Basilio, Sisa's son who joined his revolutionary cause, know that when the wick of his lamp burns lower than nitroglycerin, hidden in the secret compartment, will explode, destroying the house where the wedding feast is going to be held, killing all guests, including Governor-General, the friars, and the government officials. Simultaneously, all the government buildings in Manila will be blown by Simon's followers.
As the wedding feast begins, the poet Isagani, who has been rejected by Paulita because of his liberal ideas, is standing outside the house, sorrowfully watching the merriment inside. Basilio, his friend, warns him to go away because the lighted lamp will soon explode.
Upon hearing the horrible secret of the lamp, Isagani realizes that his beloved Paulita is in grave danger. To save her life, he rushes into the house, seizes the lighted lamp, and hurls it into the river, where it explodes.
The revolutionary plot is thus discovered. Simon is cornered by the soldiers, but he escapes, mortally wounded and carrying his treasure chest. He seeks refuge in the home of Padre Florentino by the sea.
The Spanish authorities, however, learns of his presence in the house of Padre Florentino. Lieutenant Perez of the Guardia Civil informs the priest by letter that he will come at 8 o'clock that night to arrest Simon.
Simon eludes arrest by taking poison. As he is dying, he confesses to Padre Florentino, revealing his true identity, his dastardly plan to use his wealth to avenge himself, and his sinister aim to destroy his friends and enemies.
The confession of dying Simon is long and painful. It is already night when Padre Florentino, wiping the sweat from the wrinkled brows, rises and begins to meditate. He consoles the dying man, saying, "God will forgive you, Señor Simon. He knows that we are fallible."
He has seen that you have suffered, and in ordaining that the chastisement for your faults should come as death from the very ones you have instigated the crime, we can see His infinite mercy. He has frustrated your plans one by one. The best conceived, first by the death of Maria Clara, then by a lack of preparation, then in some mysterious way. Let us bow to His will never and render Him thanks.
Watching Simon die peacefully with a clear conscience and at peace with God, Padre Florentino falls upon his knees and prays for the dead jeweler. The priest then takes the treasure chest and throws it into the sea.